Hello everyone, this is Ross from retrodreambeam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into all the stuff that we'll be shipping out on Monday. This was the most amount of items we've ever, I think, sold over a weekend. So that's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're packing this super late so then I can wake up, drop all this stuff. And yeah, a lot of offers and stuff have been coming through, and it's been prices all over the place and all types of items. All right, first up right here is going to be this vintage holiday tin right here. There's like a Santa Claus and like a little story here. Kid getting like a doll. Super cool tin. People usually collect tins and empty boxes and stuff. And I imagine for the holidays, people are going to use this as like an actual, instead of wrapping paper or like a gift bag, they probably will put the gift inside of this. But this ended up going for $8.39 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping. I do have a lot of stuff near me, so I'm going to do my best looking for it. All right. Next up is going to be a board game by Ravensburger. It's Jubako right here. I haven't played this particular one, but this company is really well known. They also do a lot of puzzles. I think they do like I was going to say the exit game, but they do like adventure games and stuff. They do a lot of board games. We usually like their board games in general, at least the company. Like I think they have good quality components. I think they also do these. They do the Lorcana. I think they actually picked up Lorcana. They normally don't do cards. But yeah, this is just going to be a sealed board game, probably as a gift. It looks like some kind of like cool tile place scene game right here. Just kind of like a cool family one, kind of like domino style, different art. Looks like fun. This ended up going for $18.90. I don't even remember where I got that one. All right. Next up is going to be this little gremlin miniature right here by Warp Miniatures Arc World right here. So like some kind of miniature game. I don't know anything about this one. Usually I'll get like big boxes of random like bulk miniatures and stuff, and I go through it. And yeah, someone's going to use this one little gremlin with a big axe or sword. $7 for that. All right. Moving along, we have a Maximum PC demo game. This is going to be from those, I believe, those magazines. And then they would come with demos. So Xbox did them. Super cool, like old stuff. I wish that stuff was still around. Really nostalgic for me. But yeah, this has the Rome Total War. This person, I think, originally reached out and they said that this would not work in Windows 2025, but they still end up accepting an offer like a month or two later. Like we talked about this a bit ago. And then we accepted a $5 offer, and they were like donating it to like a wargaming community or something within their own community. So they said someone's going to appreciate this. $5 for this one. Got a bunch of those like demo discs one time, or occasionally I'll see them, and if I don't have the magazine, I'll still list them. Like people like to dig into those. All right, moving along, we have Hordes. This is going to be Troll Bloods. So War Machine and Hordes was by Privateer Press. It's now by Steamforged Games. So I believe you can use the old stuff. I still haven't fact checked that yet. I haven't looked into it. Every time I go to the computer, I completely forget that I'm supposed to look into it. But I'm imagining a bunch of stuff is selling because the new version of War Machine and Hordes is out, I believe, or at least I saw on the Reddit, like there was the hardcover rulebook. This is going to be Braylon Wanderheart Trollkin Outlaw. He's like a character, a solo character. So normally you have little squads. You have your Warcaster or Warlock. I think Warlock, I believe, for the Hordes, which is the fantasy version of their game. But yeah, the single characters are just like special characters. So this is the Troll faction. I made a note that I spent $4 in auction for this. I got a bunch of these sprues, or not the sprues, the clamshells for $4. This ended up going for $16.79. All of the different characters and stuff go for different dollar amounts. It really depends on like how popular they are or how rare they were for supplying supply back in the day. All right, moving along, we have 650 Wargaming chit tokens. This is for one of those West End games. I think it says like Counter Sheet 1. Where did I put it? Oh, it's going to be over here. Give me a second, everyone. Yeah, this is like kind of like big and ridiculous right here. So there's two of these sheets. It is incomplete. It's hard to tell, but on this one back here, there's like this row missing, some parts right here missing here. But you can also see that I think these are actually just, these are used as fill-ins for other games. So when they lose these tokens, they go ahead, I believe they fill these out. I think that's what they're for, and they'll have like different colors and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll sell the chit tokens all the time. Bits to board games. This sold for $23.62. So yeah, someone's going to use that. All right, moving along, we have a chess board. Well, not like a super crazy one. This is like a magnetic chest. I just thought it was really cool, almost like a kid's one. So it's this little board here. It folds out, so then you have the full chest board, and then you have the magnetic little pieces. So super cute one, probably a cool gift. Going to repeat buyer for $9.79. Chess is just a fantastic tactical game. I think that's where the start of my journey with tactical games was, like checkers and chess. And now I like tactical video games and stuff like that. You know, the turn-based. I like everything having like I played HeroClix. That's also like square gridded and stuff like that. So I like that kind of stuff where like one space is one little square. All right. Next up is going to be a board game. I think it's all the way in the bottom here. So it's going to take me a moment to get out, but it's going to be, I'll talk about it a little bit. So it's Seven Wonders. I've technically never played it. It's a drafting game, meaning most of the game is you pick something, hand a bunch of other stuff off to the next person, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and you're usually building up towards like a greater goal. That's like the generic of a drafting type of game in general. So there's a lot of variations on it for board games, and there's draftings and card games, and that works differently. Like Magic the Gathering, you can draft. So yeah, this one is you're building up your specific Seven Wonders, or your particular wonder. I believe you have your own board, so you're gonna have your own special abilities, and you're taking turns picking these cards. There's also some like combat, which is like I think by like swords and shields. There's gonna be like some currency and victory points. Like I said, weird one that I've never played before, even though I've played like over 1,000 board games. That this one's supposed to be a classic. Never had enough people. I think you can play up to 7 people with that. So that one ended up going for $15. That's like a classic, kind of vintage at this point, modern vintage. I don't know how to describe that. So yeah, mid 2000s. All right, I think. All right, moving along, we have Role Player. This is actually kind of a more modern game-ish, newer vintage. But yeah, Role Player is going to be a dice game by Thunderworks Games. I love this company a lot. This one's designed by Keith, and I forgot how to pronounce his last name. But the original base game, so this is an expansion, I'll get into that in a moment. The game itself is you're rolling dice and you're trying to match your character with what they are. So you'll pick like a character, you'll pick like the race, you'll pick like your alignments within the world, like how good and evil you are. There's a couple other things you pick, your class, so you might pick wizard and stuff, and you're rolling dice and you're picking them from like the draft pool, like kind of like another drafting game, and you want certain numbers in your slot, so you're trying to make your wizard have more like intelligence and stuff like that, where the warrior is going to want more strength. So really cool game. It's like a satirical game within itself. You're playing a game to make a character, and then this is expansion. This has monsters and minions, so I believe this has like a co-op aspect for it, for at the end you guys can then use your characters to then defeat monsters and bosses. And Ned and I own this expansion. I think this one, I think there's another one like Fairies and Familiars or something like that. We haven't played it yet. We've played a bunch of the base game, but yeah, $12.24 for this particular expansion. This was missing a couple of things. I think it was missing a couple of cards. Still playable, not a big deal. Obviously, it would sell for a little bit more if it had all the pieces. So that was a lot on that. All right. Next up is a vintage G1 Transformers little toy. Is this one incomplete? No, I think this one's fine. It's like a little, what was the name? Brawn right here. So yeah. Got a bunch of these Transformers. My brother got a bigger collection back in the day. He now switched over to just doing cards, so he had all these bits and pieces and ones that he said he hadn't listed for years and wasn't going to, so he gave them to me, and the stuff like that from that. Still selling, $12.59. He watches, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I went through all of them. Everything he gave me was listed within a couple days, so I think he was impressed. I got them all listed within a couple days. It took me longer. I thought I can do it in one day. That was not going to happen in one day. All right. Next up is going to be more miniature bases, or these are going to be like wooden little squares right here. They're like, I think 2 inches or 1.5 inches. They are craft stuff, so anyone doesn't have to be for miniatures, but I imagine like it looks like a good miniature base. Been selling a lot of miniature bases because people are going to be doing their miniature projects during the, like when it's snowing and cold outside. It's super cold, and it snowed a bunch today. As I was preparing to pick up items from a storage unit, I had to actually like get off like a foot of snow on both of our cars or whatever, and that was a pain. That was awful. But yeah, these sold for $7. All right, next up is going to be Firestorm Armada Space Combat in a War. I forget what the rest of the title is. Is in a war-torn galaxy. I believe this is a miniature game like rulebook. I want to say it might be an expansion rulebook. I have it already sealed up here in storage, so I can't like open it up and take a look. It looks like almost brand new, so they're probably gonna be excited because I usually put stuff like this as used. If I don't see it like completely new, I'll just put it as used. I'll get a lot of feedback where people will be like, oh wow, this, like, they opened it up and they can still hear like the thing cracking or whatever, or they have that good book smell. $10 for this one. I took a lower offer on this one. Not a big deal. There's like just getting stuff to move has been good. All right. Next up, Annetta, do you know what place this is or no? This is going to be White House Black Market. Do you have any idea?
It's like fancier clothes at some shopping malls.
Okay, she said this is like a fancier clothing place at shopping malls, or like a business clothes or something like that. So we got a bunch of these like bags and stuff in a estate sale. We'll sell stuff like this. Someone's probably using this as a gift bag, maybe for coming up, or they collect them. Like, people buy this stuff year round. It takes a little bit for it to sell, but I like selling it. So like, people go for specific stuff, brands, and maybe they like the bag. $4 for this one. So like, we got like a pile of like 30 or 40 of those at estate sale, and we did like a bulk buy with everything, so it wasn't that expensive to get stuff like that. All right, next up is going to be 2 of these Dark Horse comic like pages, or like these big comics. They open up. We got a bunch of different numbers. I remember they were sitting by me in my listing station, like right behind me, for like a while, and I don't know where I was like, I'm gonna list them. They're kind of heavy because they were like big batches of a bunch of them. So I already relisted them. I sold issue 25 and 23. They're really delicate, as in like I have them basically brand new, and a lot of people have been picking them up and mentioning that they like the condition they're in. I think they're from 2000. So one issue is from July and the other one's from May. So 2000. So that's 25 years ago. They're pretty old. They're kind of over there. I put them flat when I brought them home. I don't want to like accidentally bend them, so I can't show you guys officially. But yeah, it's 28. It's $29, and it's like 38 cents or something for the 2 together. I had to do some quick math, and I got to relist each of those big comic pages or whatever, because I have more at the storage unit, like I was talking about. All right, next up, we sold this game recently, so I'm not sure if like some board game channel talked about it or something, but James Clavell's Noble House. This is going to be like a board game. It says the family game of trading and deal making in Hong Kong's world of high finance. So this is going to be like kind of like one of those financial games. A lot of people like those. There's the stock market game that it's called, oh, what's the stock market game called? We sold it like 20 times. Is it? No, it's not just called stock market. Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. We sold it at least like 20 times. A lot of them sold before we were recording on channel. Sorry, I just had a brain fart there. But yeah, people like these type of games. So this one ended up going for $13.99. I thought this one would go for more. I think I paid like $2 or $3 for this one. So, and the other one. So it's going to a home that's probably going to use it, and maybe a gift, and it's great. You get to make a little bit of money. All right. Next up is going to be 2 of these General, I think it's by like Avalon Hill magazines. Yeah, it's called a General right here by Avalon Hill. We got number, well, it's the first one up here is volume 25, number 4. I forgot what the other one behind here, and I can't see it in the thing. This is going international. I must have listed these 2 lower. We've got a bunch of these like wargaming magazines of various types. Sometimes they'll have inserts. Sometimes like they'll have sheets, maps, games, tokens. This does not have any of those. $5.29 for the 2. So someone's going to appreciate that going overseas. All right. Or maybe not overseas. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of 44. This is something that like Annetta had gotten me to list a bit ago, a long time ago. So I understand like it's something that's like cool for people. This is going to be like a container, but inside of the container is going to be like a random lot of 44. They're like floppy disks. So some are games, some are just like whatever the person had at the time. So people like cool collections. They like to go through them. Sometimes they'll pick it up for the games. But I don't know, Annetta grabbed some at a estate sale, and I was like questioning it way back in the day. She's like, no, it'll sell. And then they sold for a good amount. So this thing sold for $20 for 44 of them and the container. So yeah, it's pretty good. Those are usually like pretty cheap to get, at least back when we were like doing more estate sale hunting to get that kind of stuff. All right. Next up is going to be a board game, Merchant of Venus right here. I have not played this. This looks like a more complicated, almost dropping board game. I'm okay. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, looks like some kind of like strategy game, sci-fi game, 1 to 4 players, so you can play solo if you want. I put a note that I had 99% complete, so it must have been missing like a couple of tokens or something like that. Fancy Flight Games right here. I always keep an eye out on their games. Definitely the vintage ones. They were well known for making like just good board games all around, good quality and stuff like that. So you got this back here. This is gonna be like a pretty cool in-depth one. I like in-depth board games. I'll play any type of board game, honestly. I think party games are kind of like the only ones that kind of start waning for me for like enjoyment. I feel like once you play like 5 or 10, you've played all the party games that you can never handle. $41.99 for this one. I remember it took me a long time to count this, so I'm glad someone's picking that one up. All right. Next up is going to be 6 of those wax packs for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have a bunch of these. I only listed a set of 6. I'm not too sure why. You're going to go ahead and open these up. Look at this. It has the old Walgreens little sticker. 2 for $1. I remember Walgreens used to have the, or maybe not Walgreens. I think it was like Jewel Osco used to have those like clear acrylic cases where you would have to, if you wanted some trading card packs, like I'd be hunting for Pokemon or Magic back in the day, you would have to go to like the desk and they would get the key and then you would get the packs. Sorry, nostalgia lane. These are probably slightly different. These are probably just at Walgreens, but yeah, $13.12. These cards are kind of like a different type of like cardboard or whatever. The quality's not as good, but people will like it. This is for the movie. I think the 1990s movie. There you go. Tops. Next up is going to be location cards for Marvel United. I got a bunch of Marvel United stuff without the miniatures. Unfortunately, the miniatures would be the better part. They're by Cool Miniatures or not. That's the company. And then the usually people pick up the miniatures games just because they like the miniatures. And then sometimes they'll just toss aside the rest of the stuff. Like they don't even care about the game. So yeah, this is like, you still see the white band right here. I had it actually higher up. Like this is how it is when it's like, you can tell the person didn't play the game because it still has this, you know, you ripped this off. But yeah, this is the Fantastic Four, the Coming of Galactus. These are locations for the board game. So when I was going through listing these, I was like, I don't know if someone's going to just buy the location cards. I listed like 20 or 30 listings, and I still have some more Marvel United like stuff. It's, I think, characters, just not the miniatures. And then, yeah, this is the second little thing of locations that someone picked up. So that's pretty cool. $10.49. Good money, too, for that. I don't know what's in print or not for the Cool Miniatures or not Marvel United stuff. I do know it's popular. All right. Moving along, we have this. I think Anetta's parents gave us this or something, or I don't know where they got a Buddha board right here. Some kind of like watercoloring board or something. I think you put like water in there and then you like do different art on this. Someone's probably trying to get this as a gift for someone. But yeah, looks interesting. I like art stuff. I'm not good at it. $10.77 for it. My thumbnails are like probably the what'd you say? What do you mean it's not about being good at it? That's not sand. I think that's a watercolor one. I don't think there's sand with that one. All right, we'll move along. Next up is going to be a set of 5 Advanced Squad Leader, the mounted boards. These are going to be numbers, I think, 4 through 8. Got a ton of these. I still have access to some more. I have to reach out to the person to pick up some more. Very easy to list. I found a website that shows me all of the different numbers for that. I'm gonna have to put that onto a list of like websites to show people that I've been using. People really liked my video where I showed like 3 kind of niche websites, and I thought they'd be too niche, but people really liked it. So, but yeah, this is going to be a bunch of those for the war game little maps. You use these to make scenarios. You can make your own. There's a ton. They're customizable, kind of like, or module is the word. You know, you put these 2 together. You can put them like this. You can fold them out. People use them. $20 to a repeat buyer. They probably get other Advanced Squad Leader stuff. I'm assuming. I haven't looked directly into it. All right. Next up is the Handy Bundler as seen on TV. All right. I have to talk about this. I am not a, you know what? If someone bought this as a viewer, that's fine. But I'm just in general, the concept, I don't like, I call them man gadgets, the as seen on TV stuff. My parents used to be like obsessed with that kind of stuff. And I always felt like I watched a lot of them just not do what they were advertising. But, you know, some of them are okay. So this Handy Bundler right here is, I think it's going to help you like put kind of like a zip tie. They have a little example of like around a cardboard box or something. So, hey, whatever, it could be a gift, could work. I don't know. I just don't like man gadgets, or that's my name for them. $9.79. All right. I know a lot of people love that stuff. They always love hunting down, like, you know, what useful gadget will work in what scenario. Like people like that stuff. Not me though. All right. Next up is going to be 61 little board game pegs. I couldn't figure out what game these went to. There's green ones and pink ones here. They're definitely like for some kind of board game where you have to, you know, put the peg in the hole, and that's it. That's all they are. These end up selling for $5. I put like a lot of 61 pink and green plastic board game pegs. I did measurements, so no clue, couldn't figure it out. But hey, someone still picked it up. They could also be for a craft. You never know. All right. Next up, the only time I know is if people give positive feedback and I read it and they'll be like, oh, I use this for my school project. I'll be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It really is. You never know what people are going to buy stuff for. This right here is going to be, and speaking of, you never know what people are going to buy stuff for. That's why I just kind of list anything and everything at this point. I really have completely just like ignored my own thoughts of what I would purchase at this point, because like people pick up stuff for any amount of reasons. You can never really figure it out. Is this penguin stuffed animal? This is going to be Boyd's Bears and Friends. Really good quality penguin right here. He has his scarf. He still has his tag. We've been doing pretty well with plushies. It's been a while. We've probably only sold like, I don't know, 5 or 10 throughout like the year, from like January all the way up to like, I don't know, October. And then they started selling in November and now December. So maybe just gifts or something, or they're just hot right now, or hot enough where we have some listed and they're selling $10.50 for the penguin. All right, moving along, we have Star Wars Armada rule book only, and then the rules reference. So basically the rules for the game. I was a little surprised this one sold for like a decent amount of money, but Star Wars Armada is expensive. It's going to be one of those Star Wars games by Fantasy Flight Games. I can't find the rulebook. Oh, here it is. Like the game was, I think, $100 when they came out. So I know a lot of the ships sell for a ton now. So yeah, this one's even bent. You can see that this rulebook right here is bent. You can still open it up and read it. There's no damages and stuff. But this ended up going for $9.09. So that's pretty good for that one. So, and I'm glad to help out someone to learn the game. Moving along, we have a no inserts adventure gaming little skinny magazine, some kind of like sci-fi fantasy magazine. Really cool art. Is this from the 90s? Maybe it's from 1981. That's super cool. No, not the 90s, the 80s. All right. But yeah, $5 for this. I think this did a lot better with the inserts in there. This does not have them, but it's still a cool little, it's like a thin magazine. All right. Moving along, we have Incomplete Star Wars Imperial Assault Jabba expansion. I think it's like Jabba's realm right here. It wasn't missing too much. So this is going to be Star Wars Imperial Assault. It's not the base game, but the base game will have a bunch of different expansions after you play the campaign in the base game, and you'll get a bunch of expansions. And then there's a ton of characters expansions. There's probably like 60 or 70 different expansions for this game in total. This is going to be one of the campaign ones. So they have the rule sheet. And the main thing is the tiles right here. A lot of the other stuff you can kind of like, you know, replace with things. The tiles are going to be the hardest thing to replace. So let's say if you're missing a card or two, you can easily just look them up, write it on a piece of paper, boom, you got it, right? So it has all of the tiles. That's not incomplete. I think some of the cards were incomplete. It's missing some miniatures. You can sub in anything for miniatures. You could sub in like a little like a bead as a miniature. It's not a big deal, and you still get like the expensive expansion. This thing is a lot more than what I was. So this sold for $41.99 to repeat buyer. But I think the expansion sells for a lot more. So they were probably making the bet like, hey, they could just replace a couple things and pay for way less. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of 4 vintage. Is it Keith Laumer right here. Books. So I'll do books. I'll lot them up by like different types, maybe fantasy, sci-fi, vintage. But if I have same author right here, I will go ahead and lot them up. So we had The World Shuffler, The Great Time Machine Hoax, The Galaxy Builder, and The Shape Changer, all by Keith right over here. So someone's going to have a fun time reading. $9.45. All right, next up is going to be Marvel Uzma. I think Uzma, is that what it is? I think it's like a Marvel Wizards of the Oz. I'm not too sure. Oops, it came out of its little thing I had right here. I put it upside down. Uzma of Oz, so I have no idea what this particular one for Marvel is. Don't remember it, but yeah, it's still also like sealed right here, and I had another package on it. This ended up going for $10. Sorry for the crinkles. Where can I put this? I am running out of space. Lots of one-person drama here. All right, and then D&D Dragon of Ice Spire. There you go. Peak Adventure. This is going to be 5th edition. There was like a starter set with this. I think it came with like I think it actually might have come with this whole thing. And then there was also the preview book I sold. Their preview book was obviously not the whole booklet. You would get the preview booklet, either a handout at like a game store or like a free RPG day. I think it was like a game store handout. And then if you read it, you like it, get a taste, and then go, okay, I want to actually buy the adventure. And then the whole starter set, I think, was 25 or 35 back when this came out. Oh, it's been a bit. This was when 5th edition launched, so this is actually old enough. I remember this launching. $13.99 for just the adventure booklet. It's a pretty fun one. people like 5th edition. That's the only D&D I played twice. Level 1 characters had a DM run through us. We were like a group of 10 or 12, so it's a lot of people at a convention, but I had fun with it. All right, that's the only like role-playing game I've really truly played. Next up is going to be Shillage like Key. So I think Anetta told me that people will do like channels and stuff where they get keys and they like test them on random like empty buildings or something like that. I think that's what it is. But yeah, we'll end up selling keys. I'm sure there's other reasons for people collecting them. Where did I put it? It's somewhere in a little baggie somewhere, so I can't find it right now. But yeah, just some kind of like random key. Sold for $6.99. I think there was like drama about selling keys at one point. So, all right.
Oh, someone messaged us and asked me on Facebook, why are you sending my man a key?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like tell them that. It seems like a little personal. Okay, so someone messaged, I think, Anetta on Facebook. They must have done like, looking at the name and they're like, why is my man buying a key or had a key in the mail or something? And then, and then Anetta had explained we sell like just random keys and stuff. She thought her man, I think, was cheating or something. I forgot about that. Oh, okay. I think I told that story poorly there, but we're gonna have to move on. I'll leave you guys with that. I forgot about that. The crazy stuff that happens on eBay. Honestly, it's fun. All right. Warhammer Underworld starter set. This is going to be a token sheet. This is just token sheet 1 of 2. So I almost punched one of the little tokens right there. I have to be careful with this one. So yeah, this is just the base stuff used with the game. These are like the little objectives right here, or like the territories. There's going to be like guard tokens, power coins, victory. I forget like all the official names. I got a bunch of Underworld stuff, and I watched a video of someone explaining for an hour as I was listing other stuff how to play. $8.39. So I just wanted to get a little bit of a grasp of the game. But obviously, I lost some of the memory for some of the specific tokens. I at least have a little idea. All right. Next up is going to be an incomplete transformer. Same thing. Got this from my brother. This is going to be like a G1. What did I write for this? This is Ratchet Ambulance. So just missing the back right there. This ended up going for $16. Same story as before. He had a bunch of stuff he had already listed, and someone's going to appreciate it. I mean, toys are kind of like that, where people have the other bits and pieces, and they'll complete it themselves. So they might have been waiting for that particular, incomplete parts. A lot of toys have like the accessories. A lot of people know this, but maybe some people don't. Like the little guns or the swords. Those things were easy for kids to lose, get damaged, broken, and then people want to replace this stuff now, and it's from the 80s or 90s, so it's been long enough, so it's hard to find that stuff. All right, next up is going to be Star Wars X-Wing. This was just like a pile of 70 plus cards right here. This is going to be, a bunch of like rules cards right here. These are just like rules reminders, and then a bunch of these are different upgrades. Star Wars X-Wing, I think they had a 1.0 and a 2.0. I don't think it's around anymore with new stuff, but you would have enough points on your squad or you'd be upgrading your ships with these cards. So this is just a bunch of options. International, $13.43. So that's pretty cool that someone's going to use that. I played X-Wing like a couple times. Not my game, but I understood why people enjoy it, and I did have fun when I played it. All right, moving along. It's been a while since we sold some of these. I had listed a ton of these World War II micro armor like bits and pieces. I kind of separated, all the tank hulls, so the bases, and then the turret separately, and then I just listed them and hoped for the best, and then eventually got people to pick them up. But where's the other one? I'm missing like one right now. I can't find it. Oh, here's the key. Here's the key right here, the Shillage one right here. Just took pictures of it up close. Get a bunch of that stuff from like storage unit flippers, and people like little knickknacks and collecting stuff like that. All right, I guess I can't find the other thing right now, but it is going to be around me. I found the... Oh, you know what? This is... Oh, I just was reading my label wrong. So it's going to be these right here. These are going to be like, they're little, they're not even tank hulls. They're almost like Jeep vehicle, the bottom half of it. Sold for $17.49. So yeah, maybe some kind of like trucks or something. They're definitely World War II micro armor. All right. Next up is Disney Infinity 3.0. I didn't even know that they were at like a 3.0. I know people like these little toys. They actually do pretty well on the holidays, like the Skylanders and stuff like that. I feel like I noticed they do better during the holidays. But yeah, I got a giant Darth Vader right here. I think it still has the tag on him. I believe you scan this into your little, forgot what they call it, the portal. I think they call it the portal, and then you get the character and whatever in the game. I've never played them, but I feel like if I was a kid when this came out, I would have liked it because I like Pokemon when Pokemon came out. So I can imagine this would have been something I would have played. $6.30. I didn't really get into too many of the amiibos. My brother did though. My brother was younger than me. He had like a big amiibo collection. All right, next up is going to be the Shomer Tech catalogs right here, law enforcement and military equipment. I had someone reach out to me. This is two of them. They asked me if they were like the ones with like gag gifts. They sent this like long message. I completely forgot to respond to them. Maybe they saw that Aneta sent out offers on people that were watching her items. They were probably watching these, so they ended up probably picking them up, and then we'll refund the excess shipping. But they said that these magazines will have like really jokey gag gifts, and they're supposed to be like trying to be like all like serious and stuff. Yeah, apparently that's just like what these are or whatever. Some kind of it's called Shomer Tac Law Enforcement Military Equipment. This is a 2002 one, and this is a 2001 one. But yeah, it'll be in there, and like it'll just be like, oh, here's like a toilet paper grenade or something like that. Literally wacky stuff. So they paid $13.82. All right, enough about that. Next up is going to be a pack of Ticket to Ride, and I forgot to mention this game. It's like one of those historical board games, but Ticket to Ride is a historical one for at least board gaming, modern, like the start of modern and popularization of board games. But yeah, this is going to be a pack of the Ticket to Ride Europe, and then this is the ticket cards right here. So it's just a part of the board game, still sealed. Maybe someone wants to replace theirs. $11.19. I haven't looked up how much Ticket to Ride Europe is, but yeah, the game is essentially you are either picking up cards and you'll have different colored trains, or you can pick up some tickets which tell you where you want to connect your personal trains to get points. And then there's also like the board with whatever, you could be Europe, United States. I'm sure there's like other ones at this point. There's a lot of them. It is actually a pretty fun game. Like for it being like vintage enough and like a classic, I had a lot of fun with it. Like I would almost never say no to playing a game of Ticket to Ride. It is that solid. It's not like a super deep crunchy game, but it's just fun time. All right, $11.19 for just the Europe expansion pack. All right, I did like the Europe one, and I like the Germany one a lot. The expansions will add a little bit more, like kind of like an extra little mechanic to play during the game. Europe had these because it was like a smaller space. They would have these like archways that you had up to 3 of them that allowed you to use someone else's trains to connect your points. And Germany had these. Every town had a bunch of points, like they were circular points, and the first one to like touch cities would get the top one. So you would get bonuses for kind of rushing to places. But also the downside would be you might not be making the best tickets, so like you might be getting smaller tickets because so it's just like extra stuff like that. All right, next up is going to be I'm really there in ramble mode. That's fine. I hope people enjoy it. We got Zombicide Wolfsburg right here. This is going to be just the box and then the insert. This is the Cool Miniatures or Not game right here. This is going to be their fantasy version for Zombicide. I wasn't a big fan of Zombicide, but I do respect that it got a lot of people into the board game community and just playing board games. So like my on-ramp games were like Settlers of Catan, Agricola, Ticket to Ride, but some people like Zombicide was the thing that caught their attention, and then they got into all of the modern stuff. So $15.39 for the replacement box right there. All right, next up is going to be the foil Albert Wesker card. This is going to be a promo for the Resident Evil deck building game. It's a foil one. They have 3 different promos for this particular character. I have a bunch of this one. This one sold for $8.92. This is like an extra little villain here. It kind of basically like expands your game a little bit. Sometimes just individual cards are full-on expansions for board games. It's like hard to explain, but like sometimes this can add a lot and change your whole thing. All right, I had another one, so I already relisted it. So we got that one. Sell that one a bunch. All right, moving along, we have a lot of 4 Washington Gamer magazines. I don't know too much about this one other than it's just kind of like old school. I think this one's from 1991. Really cool individual things where I think people would talk about like the games they're playing. Maybe there would be some advertisements and just a lot of like articles and stuff written by people and their love for war games. So I like this kind of stuff. Instead of going for $21 for the set of 4 of these, I like to lot them together instead of individually sell them sometimes. All right. Moving along, we have a lot of 27 vintage Warhammer. I think they were like vampire count pieces, specifically vampire counts, just bits and pieces, little baggy. Where are they? Where did you go? They are apparently somewhere else. We'll get to them when I run across them. All right, Next up is going to be TSR 1990. This is going to be like one of those maps. This was going to be the Forgotten Realms. I got a bunch of these like D&D maps. Oh, Old Empire. So this must have been from like a specific like box set, which has the maps, you know, so the dungeon masters can see like where the whole, like where everything is located. Really cool. It's like colorful. It pops. This was cool to get this stuff. $20.99. I did upcharge all of my like vintage D&D maps and stuff I found, and they still sell. Like a lot of people throw really low offers, but I'm like, no, that's good D&D stuff. That's probably like the better D&D stuff I've gotten. All right, next up is going to be Forgotten Realms Neverwinter Nights game. I didn't even realize I had this one until I picked it up today. I wasn't paying too much attention. Anetta was dealing with all the offers and stuff. But yeah, I've never played this one. I think Anetta said this is like a more complicated one. Have you played this one or no? Oh, this is actually for Macintosh right there. Neverwinter Nights. It's like one that's been on my radar, but I've never played it. Oh, Netta says she has it, but she hasn't committed to playing it yet. All right, $8.40 to a repeat buyer. Oh, cool. They have a similar name to ours, but I'm not going to let people know their name. All right, let's move along. We have a lot of, how many of these? 16. Some kind of World War II soldier toys. These ones were like just different than what I normally get. They're like bigger than Army Men figures. And they're like really dynamic poses. Like one of them's even like a person going backwards being like shot. And then they just like really different than what I normally get for like toy soldiers. So I don't know if people paint these, maybe. But yeah, these end up going for $17.49. Plus, like I said, they were awkward size. They were like bigger than 1 out of 32 scale is the like classic army, green army men soldiers. All right, next up is going to be a music CD. Don't note this one. This is going to be 1001 Nights right here. Got a bunch of CDs. Hear me talk about it a lot. Full car full. It was a long time ago. $9.80. Still selling to this day. That was probably one of our hidden home runs. Just a bunch of stuff like that, just constantly selling and very easy to list. Most of them didn't take up too much time. I mean, it still takes a lot of time to list just CDs, but not too much time. All right. Next up is going to be a used kit right here. I think the person had already started. I already have it sealed up. North American B25 H/J Mitchell right here. We used to get a lot of these craft kits. The military ones have always done well. We do well. We got like some submarine ones, boat ones, the plane ones, fighter jet ones, tank ones are probably the best. $12.59. Probably tank in the ships, like the naval ships, battleships and stuff like that. All right, moving along. This is an old school one. Mad Cats. That used to be like a video game accessory. It was known to be the cheaper one. Rechargeable battery pack. We used to always have a bunch of Mad Cats stuff right here. This is for the Nintendo Wii. It probably actually works pretty well. But yeah, some of their controllers were more like chunky and stuff. So, but they would be budget, so you would get them as like gifts and stuff from parents because they'd be like cheaper. They'd be like, oh, it's just gonna work as the same thing as the basic one. And sometimes the Mad Cat stuff is fine. $5, the battery recharge pack's probably gonna work. Or maybe they're just collecting different Wii stuff and sealed stuff. People have video game collections where they just kind of collect everything. All right, moving along, we have Rapham. I forgot what that stands for. It's some kind of like miniature / RPG company. I sold these grates before. These are going to be miniature bases, metal. It has like a little sewer grate here, and then it has the slot to put the figure. But yeah, it's just 6 of these. Repeat buyer, probably the same person who bought the other ones. I'm assuming $8.75. I think I actually had a note to relist them, so I didn't have them both listed at the time. I'm not sure what I was thinking at the time, but I should have. They probably could have saved on shipping, so I feel bad. But hey, they still picked it up. All right. Next up is going to be Animorphs. Oh, super cool. This is going to be book number. Where's the book number? Oh, well, this one's called Invasion. I thought they had numbers. Maybe it was just Goosebumps, or maybe I just can't see it. Oh, this is number 1. Is it really number 1? I don't remember this one being number 1. All right. But yeah, I remember also reading some of these really alongside Goosebump books. This is going to be, there was like aliens that had come to Earth, and then they're like little earworm aliens that go into people's heads and mind control them. And then there's like another good guy alien that comes to the Earth, and he gives kids like the ability to transform into animals, because I think they can't be tracked by the evil aliens when they're as animals. And that's about as far as I know for the story. And I'm also pulling that out of like from a long time ago. Some of that might be wrong. $8.99 for the book, but I don't see the books as much, and I'll still pick them up. They usually do eventually sell. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of 3 packs of Warhammer 40K and fantasy miniature bits and pieces. I got like a big box of these. I spent like $100, I think, or $80, and then I made about 160 or something listings. This is number, I just number them: 122, 63, and 91. They spent $62.97 for these. There was also some individual pieces that were still kind of like on their sprues that I listed. I'm sure if I took way more time to take all of the pieces and like pair them up with what kits they were, I could probably get a little bit more money. But I knocked this out in 2 days and they've still been selling. I still have a ton more. So like this was just 62. I think I've sold like 6 or 7 bags of these at this point. So that's pretty good. And then last thing for the day, we sold an item. I think it was this Bonanza? It was either Bonanza or Mercari, I believe. So Mercari. So Goosebumps number 39. How I Got My Shrunken Head. I don't know if this one's first edition or not. I would have to see my listing on the inside page for the Goosebumps. All of them on the bottom say like first printing, but what you're actually looking for first edition is there's going to be a bunch of numbers, usually like all the way up to potentially 10. And if it has the 1 there, if it like, says 1 all the way up to 10, the 1 is actually what the first edition, and then the first printing doesn't matter. I think they all say like first printing. But yeah, this ended up going for, I think, like around $10. I don't have the information with me. It's still like a little crease here, but it's still fine. All right. That's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at our links down below. Hope everyone had a good weekend.